So I guess I should congratulate you for signing with a new team, Fable Esports, right?
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Um, I'm curious because this is that time of year as we go
Mhm.
into Evo, which is what I guess not even maybe barely 2 months away now.
Right.
Uh, Teams are always
68
looking, of
days.
course. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Teams are always looking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and yes, we see teams that generally haven't always been involved in fighting game community, looking into players. Street Fighter V is I think a large reason for that. But of course, as other games come out, other games become more popular, whatnot. One of the questions I had for you was when, I mean, and let's preface this with you won 3 events like within the span of I don't know what, a month or two, right?
Yeah,
Northwest
2 months.
Majors, what was it, NorCal Regionals,
Yes.
and then I'm sorry, remind me of the last one,
Texas Showdown.
Texas Showdown. So here's a guy who's unsigned. Everyone on Twitter's like, yo, if you're looking for a guy, sign Kizzie Kay. Like, what's going
Mm-hmm.
on, right? So were you out there sort of actively looking for teams, or did Fable Esports, did that just kind of like happen, I guess maybe by luck?
Uh, I wouldn't say by luck, but I was definitely trying to put myself out there. Like, I'm not gonna hide that. I was putting
Sure.
myself out there, but I wasn't like forcing my will out. It was more of just like, okay, I'm just gonna prove to myself that, I'm just gonna prove to everyone that, I'm a person that you could brand.
Right.
So when they hit me up and they were just like, yo, man, if you want to talk business, let me know. And I was like, yeah, of course. So I was like, I'm going to talk to you guys after I'm done, with the Texas Showdown because I wanted to
Okay.
focus. So it just so happens that, Guilty Gear, right after that, I
Mm-hmm.
won. So, I guess it was just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah. The reason I ask that is because we're obviously in a situation where fighting games and esports is becoming a bigger deal, right? And
Right,
not obviously like not just Street Fighter. I think just in general,
right.
and I think it's hard or difficult for some players who have never been involved in this sort of thing. I mean, they may have been playing fighting games forever, right? They may have been competing forever, but the idea of like, hey, now I have to kind of put myself out there for a team is kind of a new thing.
Hmm.
And so when Fable comes to you and they're like, hey, we're interested, and you win this third tournament, 3 out of like what your last 4 tournaments or whatever it was.
Hmm.
Um, how difficult was it for you to kind of go through that process? I mean, were you sort of like stir crazy, like, man, I really want this to happen, or were you just kind of like, well, if it happens, it happens?
I was definitely like, if it happens, it happens. I wasn't trying to like set my goal as in just like, I want this opportunity so desperately.
Sure.
I was like, I just want to like, I want to mature as a player, and I want to like to experience this as in like, once success comes, it comes to you. It's not, I'm not forcing it.
Yeah.
But when everything got like swarmed into me, I definitely asked a lot of people for advice. I'm talking about, I sat there for hours just talking to them, messaging them, all these like advice of what I should do to better myself, as this opportunity comes to me. So I'm very grateful for those guys for like sitting there and like hearing me out and stuff as a, like a rookie just coming out just like, hey man, what I need to do to what I need to do this, what I need to do that. So they sat down, they put up with me, and shout outs to them, man. I love them so
Yep.
much.
What made Fable the right team for you?
Uh, Definitely, they kind of like were the opportunity perfect for me when asking what I need to enhance my abilities to move
Okay.
forward as a pro Guilty Gear player. So
Hmm.
they kind of was just like uh, I would say good like friends. You know what I mean? Like a relationship, like a good
Okay.
like relationship that could start. And I trust them and they trust me. So with that being said, I accepted them, and right now everything is going real smooth. So I'm grateful for them. Shout outs to them.
So how hard is it to win 3 tournaments like you did? Because look, I mean, I've played him. I've played in some tournaments. Okay, I
Uh-huh.
ain't never gotten. I've never gotten close to coming out of pools, right?
Yeah.
But and I've we've talked a lot. I've known you for actually almost a year now. I guess it was West Coast Warzone last year. I think when we first met.
Yep.
Um, I know you play a lot of different games, and I know you've really excelled at, of course, Guilty Gear, Xrd, and Blaze Blue. But and it's not even how. I guess my question is, how hard is it to win multiple games in multiple tournaments like you have? Like you basically won two tournaments in three events at three events out of the last four.
Hmm.
How hard is that?
It is extremely hard, and I would tell you, like from experience, because I'm dealing with it right now, is
Hmm.
playing against people that specialize in those games are
Hmm.
the most stressful, in my opinion. So when I feel like that, I just like I have to like literally outplay them, like I have to mentally be in the game to compete with these like very strong players. So dealing with it and just going to the fact like if I could win this or not, I literally tell myself I think I could do this when I'm in grand finals. I don't expect myself like anytime soon to be winning. I'm in top 8, top 16. I'm just like I just got to get through this, and then like I just take it one step at a time.
Right.
I pretty much worry about the victory once I'm like sitting in a comfortable spot. And it's funny because in Northwest Majors, I was in losers in grand finals. So actually, when I reset at the bracket, I was like, okay, I can win this. And then I went to and in CR, I was in losers again, and I was like, I got the first game, and I was like, oh, I can win this. And then everything just started like aligning itself, you know.
Okay.
So that's pretty
You know what's
much.
funny?
Mhm.
Someone else that likes being in the losers bracket. I don't know if you like being in there, but I've heard that someone
I
else that
feel
likes being in.
stronger. I feel
Okay,
stronger in the losers bracket.
Punk actually said the same thing. He likes being in the losers bracket because he feels like it makes him stronger and he gets to play more. He likes to stay warmed up.
Yeah, same here. And it's
Okay.
crazy because Punk is amazing. So
Yeah.
I can just imagine like, the skills that he has in Street Fighter and being in losers and I feel bad for the people in losers with him because he's eliminating them left and right. So big
Yeah.
ups
Yeah.
to him.
What do you think clicked that you're on this hot streak? Because I mean, we've seen, of course, I have I guess I'll say a stronger Street Fighter background, right?
Hmm.
And seeing like Capcom Pro Tour in particular, I know you play Street Fighter as well. We
Yes.
see players sort of look. Fighting games are hard, right? Tournaments are
Hmm.
hard. I don't think anyone doubts that. So when you see a player win like two big events in a row or something like that, that's incredibly difficult to do, right? To
Right.
replicate that success event after event. And you're over here, you win 3 out of 4 events. You said you took what, fourth at DreamHack
Yeah.
Austin in
Yes.
Guilty Gear. Did they have Blaze Blue also, or was it just Guilty Gear?
No, it was just Guilty Gear.
Okay, so 4 events, you're top four. 3 of those events you win. Before that, I mean, look, I always knew you're strong in these games, but I don't necessarily think I heard much on like, you know, oh, Kizzie Kay is just tearing it up, right? And now all of a sudden you're on this hot streak. Like, what do you think clicked?
I think what clicked was the mindset that I had now than I had prior before. I felt like changing my mindset and just more of just like reflecting on a lot of the things that I didn't reflect before.
Hmm.
It started like kind of like you wake up and then wake up and you wake up you go to sleep and you wake up and you're just like you feel refreshed and then like the new things that you've been working on just started like aligning itself and it started being like into your game and like enhance your abilities and you're just
Yeah.
like I don't know what's going on, but all that practice is finally paying off. So I think changing my mindset really really affected me overall as a player and I'm really liking the way it's going right now
Yeah.
personally. I really do.
You feel more pressure now?
No, I'm actually more calmer. I'm
Okay.
actually more relaxed than usual. I mean, a lot of people have like this mindset, like they expect you to win all the time, but I just want to do my best. So
Okay.
and I try not to worry about what other people think.
So if we
I
expect
think
you to win from now on, yeah. Because that's the
you know
expectation now, right? Like that's
that
the expectation you've set. Like you've won
yeah,
all these events, and now we're like, well, he's got to win the rest of them.
right. And you know, even with that pressure aside, like I'm still kind of like I'm calm. You know, even if I
Okay.
like say for example I get sent to losers early, like even in Texas Showdown, like Flux sent me to losers in Blaze Blue
Hmm.
in top 16. So you know, just imagine just from top 16 and then I still won. So like I wasn't really like personally affected. I mean, I knew these guys are strong and I know they work hard just as me, and I'm never
Yeah.
gonna take that away from them. You know, so like even when somebody say, "Oh, he's starting to lose now," personally, I just don't care. I'm still gonna do my best, and I know I'm just gonna push through. I know what kind of person I am.
Yeah, yeah. I can respect that. I think a lot of people respect that. One thing that I just have to ask you about. So I was watching Top 8 at Texas Showdown,
Hmm.
and there was a moment you weren't even actually playing. My good friend Hamad was playing Beautiful Dude, okay?
Yeah,
And if I remember right, I can't remember the exact score, but I feel like Hamad may have been down maybe a game or two at that point.
yeah,
And I
he
saw you
was.
walk up and tap him and say something to him. And I don't know if you saw it, I don't know if you saw the stream after the fact, but Beautiful Dude was kind of giving you the side eye, like, what's going on here? So my first question to you is, what did you say to Hamad?
So I told Hamad that I said, be aware of the situations he's putting you into,
Hmm.
because you're losing there, and I want you to try to. I told him, I said, I want you to try to focus and adjust your block timing, because he's blowing you up for that, and you need to be active in the air tech situation and dash out, because he's keep putting you in this 50-50 situation, and once you do that, you're gonna start like seeing a difference. And I said
Hmm.
also, uh, he likes to jump a lot, so stop him from jumping. And he
And
did all of that,
you're
and
right.
he perfect though. He actually perfect.
You're right. He did.
So
He took all of that advice to heart, and it worked. So my second question to you then is, what was it in that moment, or why did you feel the need to go give Hamad some coaching or some advice in that moment?
So I don't know if you know, but me and Hamad are like training partners.
Okay.
Believe it or not, even when I'm in SoCal and he's in Texas, he's like one of the only few people that actually play me almost every other day.
Hmm.
So we have that bond where we work together, and I feel like to get strong, you have to have one of those players that work as hard as you. So when you see him working as hard as you want to work harder.
Hmm.
And I told him, I said, honestly, man, if you run into anything that I feel like you will have a problem with because you don't understand, I'm gonna try to do my best to help you for to fight.
Right.
So I felt like that was the time to come by and give him that advice.
I think you surprised a lot of people because, like, on stream, they were like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, what's Kizzie doing? Is he's and
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong. Beautiful Dude's from SoCal.
SoCal, yeah.
Okay,
So
so
me
there
and
was like a
beautiful.
little bit of regional like disloyalty. Like what?
Well, well, Julie, beautiful dude's my boy. He
Okay,
knows that he has a best friend actually. So he has a best friend that he trains with all the time, and I don't have nobody. So I
okay,
told him, I said, "Well, you have a buddy that you play with all the time, and I don't."
okay.
So and he happens to be from Texas. So I hope you understand that it's just a brother. Just a brothers in arms thing, And
Yeah,
I hope you
yeah.
understand. He said he understands. So
Okay,
it was pretty
okay.
cool that he came through. We spoke about it and stuff. But so it was no bad blood. But ups
Yeah.
to him, man. He still, even though like with that adjustment, he still clutched through it. I felt like Julian was,
Yes, he
was
did.
playing extremely well that weekend. So shout outs to him, man.
Yeah, that I mean that whole top eight. I think most people maybe not don't necessarily realize that, like, even though the bulk of our coverage does tend to fall in certain games, like I still pay attention to other games, and I still like to watch, of course, entertaining top eights with a lot of different games, right?
Right.
And Guilty Gear is actually a game that I do like to watch. I find it fascinating. It's not a game I feel like I can play. I've tried before, but it just sometimes I feel like there's just too much going on for
Going
me,
on.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I feel like, and Marvel
It's
has
very
had the
true.
same effect in the past. So
Mhm.
that said, we know more people are paying attention to Guilty Gear, not just because, like, hey, Kizzie's over here winning multiple events. Now, the top players are getting signed. Like, that's part of it. But I think with a new version, of course, coming out, with Evo coming up, um, as more people are becoming interested in Guilty Gear, how do you feel like is the or what do you feel like is the best way to kind of get them playing and retain people in the Guilty Gear scene?
So, for one, if you guys don't know, Guilty Gear Revelator has amazing tutorial mode.
Hmm.
Tutorial mode kind of breaks down everything you need to know about how the game works and stuff like that. And it actually has like a really cool game type that you could do and play as you're learning the game. So I feel like learning, like going through the tutorial and stuff like that, and it's even cool too. Is they have questions on the game that they ask you, like, how can I do this, and it has like a really long explanation. So I feel like those two are very very important to take advantage with if I was a newcomer to the game. And
Hmm.
also following like very popular like streams that do a lot of stuff for the community, like Juna, Majid Obama, like those guys, they do so much. You want to follow those guys because they'll point you to the right direction.
Yeah.
So I all I would say is just, I know that the game is like very very hectic, it looks like. So I was just like I said, just do the tutorials and stuff, and you'll
Yeah.
slowly start understanding.
I
Um,
mean, we mentioned this. You play Street Fighter also. Like you play a lot of
yeah,
games, not just,
yeah,
you
yeah.
I know you
I love Capcom, man.
I know you play a lot of games, and lately, guys like James Chen was there commentating, of course,
Mhm.
Guilty Gear, and he's done a lot more beginner streams, I think to help people sort of learn and get better at the game. But we've also noticed, or I've also noticed that we just spoke about Hamad was a great Street Fighter 4 player. I still
Yep.
remember Evo, 2 years ago, he had a fantastic set against Itazan. It was like the longest match I'd ever seen in my entire
Yep.
life. Fei Long versus Zangief. Um, but he really threw himself into Guilty Gear, and we're seeing more, I guess, even though we all play multiple fighting games, to say traditional sort of competitive Street Fighter players that are now looking at Guilty Gear, whether or not they want to get in and be competitive there or not, who's to say?
Yeah.
But I've seen guys like Dominion and even Mike Ross and some other guys talking about
Flow.
playing or getting in.
Yep.
What do you what do you what do you think is I guess the why do you think these guys are crossing over? And I mean, do you think they can actually, I guess, affect some change as far as like how people perceive the game?
I think what the reason why they're actually getting into the game is because they see that the game, like when you sit there and you kind of play it and give it a chance, it really helps you out. Like it explains a lot. And I think that most fighting games don't really do that. I know
Hmm.
KI kind of does it too, which
Hmm.
is,
Yeah.
KI is an amazing game
Yep.
as you can see. So like little things like that, I feel like really impacts a player, that like makes them want to get up and like give this a shot. And
Yeah.
most characters are extremely unique, cool design looking. So you see people's style kind of like excel when they see a character that they like. So like Mike Ross is playing Axel, and Axel is like a really really cool design for him, and it fits
Mm.
him, and he's enjoying it. So I'm really happy to see stuff like that. um, I would mostly think that um, just mostly the characters' designs kind of like stand out the most. That's
Are
what
you
I
saying
think.
Street Fighter 5 doesn't have great character designs? Is that what you're
I
saying?
think I think Street Fighter Five has great character designs, but I think like the nature of the game could definitely discourage people when they play it, so long. But the way they go in the direction with Ed, I think that might change a lot.
Okay.
Actually, I think Ed is the good step forward. So
Yeah,
I'm really hoping that everybody gets a chance
they've
and
I think they've done a good job with creating unique characters for this last
this
set.
season,
I mean,
this
at least
season,
with
yeah,
yeah, with at least with Colleen and Ed. You probably
yeah,
have seen me talk about Colleen a lot. I
yep,
messed around with Ed a little bit. I didn't get a chance to play with him a whole lot, but I do think he's interesting.
yes.
But I think you brought up a good point in that Street Fighter Five can be discouraging to some players. I understand, why some people do or don't like it. Like I like the game.
Yeah, I like it too.
But what is it that you think is like the difference between Street Fighter V and Guilty Gear, that makes people maybe want to stay with Guilty Gear?
So, so Street Fighter Five, it's not a lot of double jumping and stuff like that. Some characters have it and everything, and I think it's more of just like the limited options that characters have versus the other game, like Street Fighter. And I think just not having a lot of defensive options actually discourage people too, because if you really think about it, can you imagine if Guilty Gear had no defensive options?
Yeah.
I actually would feel bad for that person if I had a character design like, what's a good character? Like Bison. Like, can you imagine like Bison, just a Bison style character in Guilty Gear, and you just can't do anything about it,
Yeah.
You just have to sit there and just pray to God that like, oh, he messed up. Okay, this is my turn now,
Yeah.
So maybe just like, defensive options also I feel like impacts a lot. But what I do respect for the Street Fighter players that are playing it now is even with like those limited options, they still find answers to deal with a lot of stuff in the game, and that's talent in my eyes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much solving something that that has like literally one way to answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what, we see the talent of you guys, Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, or Killer Instinct, whatever, right? Like at the end of the day, we see the talent that the players bring to these games. Real quick, remind me, who do you play in Street Fighter V?
So right now I'm playing Akuma.
Okay.
But I might be making a huge change to Ed.
Okay.
So I love Shotos.
Okay.
But and Akuma is that he's that anime style Shoto. So he has like a demon flip.
Yeah.
And stuff like
that's
that.
Why I said that's why I was like, yeah, you would play Akuma.
He has a lot of freedom. So
okay.
Movement with him is like very, very good for me. So I picked him up.
What do you find intriguing about Ed though? Like why do you think Ed might be your future character of choice?
The reason why I like Ed, because Ed looks like one of those characters that he may not have like a high-low mix-up, but he has like a mental like conditioning a style. So he makes people feel some type of way. And with that being said, once they feel like very angry, like, oh man, he's just throwing me, like what am I gonna do? They get aggravated. So I feel like with that mindset, if you have that mindset using that character, he will actually shine a lot. So he really fits me, because that's kind of like the characters I play. They're like mental characters. Like they put you in the state where you feel mentally helpless, and for you to get out, you have to do something that's very, very risky, and you feel like every decision is a risk. So I definitely feel like Ed is that character, especially with the EXTP and Zalt Knuckle and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
What do you feel like? I mean, I feel like there's been a little bit of back and forth as far as like the things Ed excels at, and I don't think he's going to be a terrible character like some people think. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a really good character. But I've also seen some of the things that do kind of, to me, make sense about like if he had this or that, whatever. What do you feel like Ed could use, or what do you feel like Ed's missing that maybe makes him sort of a viable tournament worthy character?
So right now I feel like there's certain situations where you get a stray hit from a certain range, and I just feel like he can't really get a lot of mileage from. And I feel like that holds him back a lot, actually, because if you can't do anything on the right hit, then what are you gonna do then? I feel like super it's so important for him, because when he hits you in that range, he has to do something to make to make the player feel like, okay, the next time I do that, it's gonna be like deadly. So range is definitely really bad for him.
That's funny you say that, because that's my number one issue. I think range. I think he's got some great tools, but the more I played him, I'm just like, why? He's got this great like crouching medium kick. But if I'm at a certain distance, I can't even connect, not even with like a super or anything. I can't even connect some of his special moves, which you can cancel. But like if I do his special moves, it won't even hit. It'll whiff, and that doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. I feel like it stands
Um,
strong. It's super strong too.
we talked about this a little bit, and I'm curious because I know that this is an issue for a lot of people. Even maybe myself. I think one of the biggest adjustments I had for like Street Fighter Five would be that it is such an offensive heavy game. Um,
Right.
would how do you think having more defensive options would affect Street Fighter Five? Do you think it would maybe ruin sort of the pace
It would
that the game's
definitely
currently
ruin.
in?
I think it would definitely ruin it a lot actually, and it might be very very boring for viewers.
So it'd be Street Fighter
So
Four.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's really good if they want to make stuff to like keep up the pace and make stuff
Yeah,
fast paced. They have to do this, you know. But
yeah. Okay.
it's very unfortunate that the players gotta, they gotta make choices. You know, it's a
Yeah,
do or die situation. And like I said, the people are consistent in that game. Big ups to them because
yeah,
they did a lot of doing and not dying.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
good.
No, and for all those people that love Street Fighter Four, I'm just kidding. I just, you know what? I just find it hard to watch sometimes.
It is hard to watch, man.
Yeah. All right. So what's next for you? Combo Breaker, right? You going to Combo Breaker?
Combo Breaker, CEO Evo.
All right. So what's it take for you to win all three of those events?
It takes a lot of meditating. I'll tell you that. A lot of practice, and one thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like take notes to like I talk to people and ask
Hmm.
people like how do you feel about situations like this, and when they explain to me, take notes about it and
Hmm.
like see like okay, if this is how this person's feeling this situation, then I want to act accordingly and do something that I know that gives them a hard time dealing with.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
asking a lot of questions just overall about what is hard when I do this or do that. So just asking a lot of questions pretty much.
Yeah. Evo, like how important is it to you to do well there? I mean, if you won Evo,
It's
and
extremely
and don't forget, I mean, you're playing Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, right? Like both those
yep.
games are main games at Evo. So,
Play Street Fighter
how
as well.
important is it to you? Well, Street Fighter, obviously, yeah. How
hmm
important is that to you?
So Evo is one of my goals to do extremely well because most Evos that I've attended to, I always got a short end of the stick. I'll do well in most majors, but I always do
Mhm.
the short end of the stick. I had the short end of the stick in Evo,
Right.
so I am now 100% ready. I am extremely confident for Evo, and I plan to do extremely well there. So if I get a chance to take it all, best believe that I'm going to be on my 150% pushing forth to achieve that goal.
You gonna pop off?
Nah, I can't do that.
you, you are the
I
most
personally,
like to me. I mean, like I said, I've known you for a little bit, and I don't think I've ever seen you actually pop off. But you're so laid back. Well, I'm like, I don't know if I even see this guy popping off. But
nah, I can't. I
not even
can't.
an Evo.
Nah, probably not.
Okay, all
You'll
right,
probably just get a cheer for me, but that's it. I
all
can't.
right. A little fist pump, a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, maybe
Kizzy,
a yeah.
congratulations, man. I
Thank you.
know everyone wants to. Everyone in this scene has some desire to, of course, compete at a certain level.
hmm
Um, and a lot of us want to be pros, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing a thing that I think a lot of people, most people, can't do. Whether it's part of their control or not, right?
hmm
You're competing at a high level. You just got signed with a new team, and of course, knowing you is the way I do. I'm happy for you, and I want to see you compete at a high level and wish you continued success. So,
Thank you.
congratulations again, and I guess we'll see you at Combo Breaker, man.
Yeah, man. I hope we be able to chill and watch some matches together.
We'll do that. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because it's going to be some really good competition out there since a lot of killers ain't showing up. So I'm happy to see like some new talent come by and show some wreck.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you then. Take care.
Take care, man.